guys, Triple B here. Sorry for the bit of a hiatus. I was off for about 6 weeks. Just went to visit some family and friends back in Canada. But I'm back now and I'll be back to my normal streaming schedule of Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Also, might have noticed, got around to getting the logo. Pretty happy with it. If you guys like it, make sure to let me know in the comments. We've got a new set that came out, Lost Origins. So I figure what better way to kind of get back into doing some streaming, making some videos, and cracking some packs. So I picked up 3 boxes and we're gonna rip those today on stream. Also, I'm gonna admit I'm pretty rubbish at opening packs, so got some scissors just to get into the boxes. Actual packs, though, I should be able to kind of just do by hand. Might be some hiccups along the way, though. We'll see how we go. Pretty cool set. Seen a couple deck lists come out from it already. Obviously, Giratina Vstar, they look pretty slick. Zoroark Vstar, I think is probably the one that I'm going to be chasing though. Seems like a really fun deck. Also, like, it's a ghost. Kind of gotta love the ghost types when they get good cards. Plus, there's the new Gengar in the set that you can kind of combo it with. Should be pretty fun. Started off though, got the pack with the Giratina art. So maybe it shows up in the first pack for us. Let's see. All right, what do we got? The new Finneon. Pretty sweet. Has the ability, what's that called? Oceanic accompaniment? Definitely butchering that word. Sorry guys, can't really see the card facing it towards the camera. But it does have the ability, lets you put out as many water energy during your turn to any Pokemon that have the swim freely attack. So kind of like Frostmoth, except it's a basic, so you don't have to set up a stage 1, and it doesn't have to attach to guys on the bench. You can just put them wherever you want. Spinark, Paris, Inkay. I think there's actually 2 Inkays in this set. Cool, they're still giving it some love. Doesn't say Rapid Strike on it though, so I don't think it'll really be seeing any play. We got their Basculin. Basculegion that's in the set is pretty sweet. And Ice Can. Pretty cool. What's he let us do? Draw 2 cards. If your active Pokemon has Hisuian in its name, you get to draw 2 more cards. So similar to like Coach Trainer, I think it was called, when you had tag teams. Let you get some extra stuff. Also, could work with Hisuian Zoroark, potentially. Mimikyu, really excited for this guy. He'll be really good for GLC. So for a colorless and a psychic, it does 10 damage and then 10 more damage for each damage counter on all of your opponent's Pokemon. So if you can rush out a bunch of damage counters, which in GLC you've got things like Weezing, Peloetta that you flip coins, put a bunch of damage counters out, you can quickly scale this up and be taking some cheeky knockouts in the GLC format. For standard, not too sure. Maybe it'll come up. Hope it does. Mimikyu's pretty sick. And then Water Energy, Lampent, and another Iscan. Definitely saying that wrong. And what's his name? Dottler. Nice. My first time doing one of these pack openings, kind of as a YouTube video. So if you guys have any tips, let me know. I'll be the first to admit I'm not great at them. But it's about having fun more than anything, right? Alright, what do we got here? Flip up. Evolves into that Dottler. Another Finneon. Halfway to a playset already. Another Spinark. Another Paris. Did we just open like 2 in the same pack? Another Inkay. Okay, Mind Show? Or Mindfu? Mindfu. Evolves into Mind Show. Reverse Hollow. That's kind of cool. Oophalant. Alright, Bronzong. Don't think he's really gonna be coming up though. Does 40 damage plus 40 more damage for each colorless in your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost. Porygon 2. For 1 colorless energy, does 20 damage for each tool card in the Lost Zone. Kind of cool concept, like tool drop. Having a Lost Zone them though does make it a bit tricky. We've got Colress and Comfy to help you get things there, but I don't know. I don't think it scales up enough to really justify it. And the fact that they're in the Lost Zone, it's because you'd need what, like 15 to be taking out Vmaxes, 14 to be taking out Vstars. Like, that's a quarter of your deck you need to get into the Lost Zone before you get in one-shots. I don't know. Maybe someone will make it work. Maybe someone will make it work. Swanna? Nice. As Water Pulse, 20 damage. Your opponent's active Pokemon's now asleep. And then Air Slash for 130. Also, could be a cool one for GLC, because I'm pretty sure we've got a... There's like a Z Crystal that if they have Air Slash, they can use a GX attack. Gives a Water-type Pokemon potential GX attack in GLC. Pretty cheeky. See if I can get that pack opening trick right this time. So we take this, and I think it's 1, 2, 3. That's the energy. Is that my rare? No. Where's the rare? We'll figure this out. Okay, yeah, so you go to the back to the energy. 4 in. Alright, grass energy. We've got Lost Vacuum. So, it lets you use a Pokemon tool attached to this Pokemon Stadium. Oh, cool. So you can only use this card if you put another card from your hand into Lost Zone. Choose a Pokemon tool attached to any Pokemon or Stadium in play and put it into Lost Zone. So that could help you set up that Porygon. Helps you counter stadiums. So instead of, I don't know, having to run Pumpkaboo, you can now just be using an item card and Lost Zoning their Stadium or Lost Zoning tools. It's kind of interesting. Cascoon. Lady reprint. So lets you search your deck for 4 basic energy cards and put them into your hand. Pretty cool, especially with that Finneon being able to accelerate water energy out. This is a way you can get that set up instead of just using buckets. The Fairy. This is a card I am pumped for. So it has an attack for 3 colorless energy, and it does, is it 20? Yeah, 20 damage for each psychic energy attached to all of your Pokemon. But then it's also got the ability that when this is in the active, once during your turn, you can accelerate psychic energy from your deck onto all your bench Clefairy. So it won't accelerate to itself, but if you have 3 Clefairies on the bench, accelerate 3 psychics to it, then you get this one onto the bench, put one of those in the active, accelerate 3 more to the other ones, and just kind of keep going like that. You can hit some pretty nutty numbers. Plus you can combo it into Weirdeer, so put all those across all your Clefairies, bench your Weirdeer, switch into it, and then use its attack that scales up by, I think it's 40. It's pretty nice. We got there Roselia, Porygon, the other Inkay. So this one, pretty cool for GLC since it has Call for Family. Search your deck for 2 basic Pokemon, put them onto your bench, and there is a Dark Malamar that has, I think it's for 1 dark energy. Your opponent reveals their hand, pick a Pokemon that you find there, they discard it, and you get to use one of their attacks. So kind of cheeky. Another a Piplup. Not a Rev. Reverse Hollow Comfy. That's sick. Actually got a buddy that's looking for these, so probably be swapping it to him for a regular one. I know a lot of people like the reverse hollows and budget play. And the Banette. So Banette has the ability that when you evolve into it, or is it once during your turn? Once during your turn, actually. Okay, so that's sweet. You can just have him kind of hang it out on your bench. You can put it into the Lost Zone and then get a supporter card from your discard. So you can be able to recycle things like Boss's Orders or Colress while getting things into the Lost Zone and charging up your other item cards that rely on that, like the one that accelerates energy out. Sorry about that, guys. Just noticed the focus was pretty bad and you couldn't really see the cards. So just getting kind of back on the flow now. Starting off, Lightning Energy, Kamala. So all just a dream. If this Pokemon is asleep and knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, your opponent can't take any prize cards for it, and it does 60 damage, double colorless energy, and this Pokemon is now asleep. So try and keep it asleep. Opponent can't take prize cards. There is that Glimwood Tangle Stadium, so you flip 2 coins between turns for status conditions to stay asleep. Potentially you just have this, don't let them take any prizes. There's also that Trevenant in the set, where if it's knocked out by Pokemon B, your opponent doesn't take prizes, so I'm sure someone's going to come up with some pretty cheeky stuff for that. Thornton, you get to choose a basic Pokemon in your discard pile and switch it with one of your basic Pokemon in play. Any attached cards, damage counters, special conditions, turns in play, and any other effects are now on the new Pokemon. So a kind of cheeky way to cheat out some energy. Potentially use Regigigas and the other Regis to accelerate a bunch of energy out, and then Thornton to switch it with something else. Sure, people, some pretty crazy combos. Chorus's Experiment. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Put 3 of them on... Sorry about that, guys. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Put 3 of them into your hand. The other cards go into the Lost Zone, so a pretty good way for the Lost Zone engine to come into effect. Another Inkay. Porygon. Roselia. Clefairy again. Very excited for this guy. I think that's going to be one of the first decks I put together. Slugma. Reverse Holo Cascoon. And our first V, Goodra V. Nice. So it has Slip and Trip, 60 damage. And what else we got on there? Your opponent switches their active Pokemon with one of their bench Pokemons. So a little bit of disruption, as well as Rolling Shell. So 140 damage during your opponent's next turn. This Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks. So pretty beefy guy. I know the V-Star has a similar thing. I think it takes 80 less damage from attacks. And there's a stadium in this set where if it's got water energy, you're going to take another 20 less damage. Pretty cool guy. Pretty cool guy. Right, let's get a couple more packs out and ready to go. Another Giratina one. I think he's in this pack. Gonna be in this one. All right, now let's try this trick. Fighting Energy. Oracle. Flamethrower, 130 damage. Fire triple colorless. Discard an energy from this Pokemon. Seems alright. Erizu, another very solid GLC card. I'm almost wondering if Pokemon's kind of seen GLC and they're like, yeah, let's start printing some sick cards for it. Is what you get to do is search your deck for 3 evolution Pokemon and put them into your hand. Pretty busted. Like evolution incense, but just broken. Relicanth, into the deep, put 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile into your hand. Seems alright. Poliwag, Flygar, Gumi. Mawile has Tempting Trap. During your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon can't retreat. And during your next turn, the defending Pokemon takes 90 more damage from attacks. So essentially locking something in the active while you're setting else something up to come up and get the finisher. Kind of cool. Slugma. And Reverse Holo Hoopa. Search your deck for a dark energy card and attach 20 to your Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. Cool. And Chandelure. I've got to make a deck with this. Chandelure, when you evolve up into it, you mill the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. You can obviously use Scoop Up Net, repeat it. There's the Lampent that if you top deck it, comes right into play. A little silly. Alright. Fire Energy. Give me a hot pack. Abomasnow. Double Edge, 160. This Pokemon does 30 damage to itself. Alright. Lost City. Whenever a Pokemon, either yours or your opponent's, is knocked out, put that Pokemon in the Lost Zone. Kind of busted. Carbink, Lucky Find. Search your deck for up to 2 item cards, reveal them and put them into your hand. Phalanx, they just love printing this guy. It's steadily getting worse and worse, I swear. Like, we used to have the Phalanx with Phalanx V, where Phalanx V makes him take less damage, and then the baby Phalanx did, like, I think 30 more damage for each Phalanx in play. This one, what does he got? Fighting Headbutt, 10 damage. This attack's damage isn't affected by weakness. If your opponent's active Pokemon is Pokemon B, this attack does 50 more damage. So you're doing 60 damage? Like, yeah. Another Poliwag. There's a kind of cool Politoad. It's like you have essentially every Poliwag, Poliwhirl, Poliwrath does. I think it knocks out a Vstar, like 280. Mawile. Reverse Holo Inkay. Drapion Vstar. Alright. 250 damage. This attack does 10 less damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. And then Hazard Star. During your turn, you may make your opponent's active Pokemon paralyzed and poisoned. During checkup, put 3 damage counters on that Pokemon instead of 1. Okay, so if it's not damaged, 250, you can paralyze and poison it. It takes 30 between turns. You can theoretically knock out a Vstar. and if they've got a Vmax, they're paralyzed. They're not going to knock you out between turns. It comes back to you. They go up to 310. It's getting knocked out. Kind of interesting. Like, you give it a choice belt to put it up to 340 to take out Vmaxes. There's potential. There's definitely potential, but I feel like just the Drapion V is kind of the one that's going to start seeing play, not necessarily the Vstar. It's kind of just like a silver bullet for Mew Vmax. Alright. Swanna. Ariema. Carbink. Litwick. Jinx. Alluring Dance. Switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with their active. The new active Pokemon is Confused. Okay. We're double colorless though. Kind of meh. Love this. Matching look. Each player reveals the top 2 cards of their deck, then draws those cards. That's kind of cool. Another Phalanx. Oh, wow. Trainer Gallery Pikachu has Pikadash. This Pokemon has energy attached to it. It doesn't have a retreat cost. So if we got like a Pikachu EX or Raichu EX down the line where this could evolve into it, I could see this getting some play. Also, just the art on it is just nice. That's good. And Parasect. Lethargy Spore. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may make both active Pokemon asleep and poisoned. Alright, that's kind of cool. Similar to like the not Bellsprout, Weeping Bell, where you like evolve, they're burned and poisoned, but this is asleep and poisoned, so less damage between turns, but they're asleep. Kind of cool. Alright guys, I think I need some pack magic here. We need a good Vstar. A choke. A Tina. You can use this card only if you have 10 or more cards in the lost zone. Okay. During your opponent's next turn, all of your Pokemon take 120 less damage from attacks of your opponent's Pokemon V. That's kind of cool. So things like Giratina Vstar, where you're going to be wanting to lost zone a bunch of things, you can just be using this to take a bit less damage, so you can be potentially one-shotting guys, but they're not going to one-shot you. Gift Energy. This one I'm actually really excited for. Essentially Lucky Egg, but as an energy. So if the Pokemon this is attached to gets knocked out, you draw cards until you have 7 in hand. Ride the colorless energy as well. There's the regular art for that Pikachu. We just got the Trainer Gallery for. Jinx. Litwick, Oddish, Love Disc, and Radiant Hisuian Sneasler. Try saying that 5 times fast. During Pokemon checkup, put 2 more damage counters on your opponent's poison Pokemon. That's actually kind of cool. So it's like the Toxicroak we have, but as a basic. Poison Jab, 90 damage. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned, so essentially 110. Oh, 1 more card. And Ariados. This attack does 30 more damage for each cost in your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost. Okay, so kind of like the Grass Knot Tangrowth we used to have. Bronzong, Oregon 2, another Colress, Seal, Hisuian Zorua, Dover, Machop. The Machamp in this set's actually kind of nutty. Pikachu, Lampent, and Mr. Mime. What's he do? Trick Slap, 90 damage. You and your opponent play rock, paper, scissors until someone wins. If you win during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage from the effects of attacks done to this Pokemon. That's kind of nuts. So it's like Ammo Bomb, but instead of coin flip, it's rock, paper, scissors. I like it. Like it's rock, paper, scissors. It's a very skill intensive game, guys. Just always go rock. Ah, Vstar. Osity? Lake Osity? Maybe that's right. All Pokemon that have water fighting energy, both yours and your opponents, take 20 less damage from attacks. This is the stadium I was talking about earlier. Kind of nutty. Palkia, Arceus, they're going to be using this. Duraludon can be using this. It's gonna see some play for sure. Lumineon, swim freely, 10 damage, flip a coin if heads during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage from and effects of attacks done to this Pokemon, and then 120 for Waterfall. Mirage Gate, so this is the one that lets you accelerate out energy. So you can use this card only if you have 7 or more cards in the Lost Zone. Search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards of different types and attach them to your Pokemon any way that you like. So this is really going to help out for Lost Zone guys. It's going to help out for Dragon Pokemon because they typically have various different attack requirements in the energy, as well as just like weakness box decks. So things like the one that runs Entei, Raikou, and Suicune. These 3 dudes might have a deck idea coming, we'll see. But it can help set them up. Since you're going to be running various types of energy, you can just accelerate it out and get one on board. Rockruff, Seal, another Hisuian Zorua. Seeing a little bit of a cool border peeking out over here. Snover, Machop, I still haven't seen the Machamp. But yeah, he's like, if your opponent has, I think, 3 or less prizes remaining, he has 300 HP. So definitely a GLC staple and pre-release monster. Pikachu Vmax, oh, that is nice. Okay, so we've got the Pikachu Alt-Art, we've got the Pikachu Vmax Alt-Art. Pikachu V Alt-Art maybe? Kinda wish I hung on to my Nuzzle Pikachu arts back in the day that had red in it as well. Gmax Volt. Alright, Gmax Volt Tackle, 120 damage. You may discard all energy from this Pokemon. If you do, this attack does 150 more damage. 270. Just about taking out V-Stars. Give it a belt, it does, and can be one-shotting Palkias. Please. Blast Rear? Freeze down 40 damage. If the defending Pokemon is basic Pokemon, it can't attack during your opponent's next turn. That's kind of cool. And Wild Tackle 130. Okay, it's like interesting for water decks as a tech. I feel like the Ice Key is just a better option, but it's Ice Key a little bit more damage, and is a penguin. Like, you can play a penguin, you can play a penguin, right? I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty sure it's just kind of a law. Alright. Kamala. Arbink. Another Thornton. Juppet. Jealous. Hisuian Growlithe. Singe, your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned, and it's free attack. That's pretty cool. Ducklet. Rockruff. Reverse Hollow Swanna. And a Dustox. Alright, alright. I feel like we've seen a lot of the commons and stuff, so I'm probably just gonna start speeding up with opening these packs. Actually, it has me say it though. Misfortune Sisters. So look at the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck and discard any number of item cards you find there. Your opponent shuffles the other cards back into their deck. That's cool. So I could see this being comboed with that Chandelure to help like mill stuff. Metachan. Mind Shell. Horsey. Juppet. Chelos. Growlithe. Ducklet. Reverse Machoke, and Greedent. So collect, draw 2 cards, and spill out 60. Discard your hand. If you discard 5 or more cards in this way, your attack does 150 more damage. That's kind of cool. I could see that fitting into like a Zoroark box. A double colorless attack, you're discarding things, so gets attackers into the bin, and then Zoroark can switch into them. Kind of just like early game, instead of going into Wormadam, you can go into the Greedent. Alright. Do that one. Lightning Energy. Nuzleaf. Bombasnow. Lost City again. Murkrow. I don't think we've seen him yet. Didn't realize there was a Murkrow on the set. Fairy. We're almost out of place out of that now. Coming along, coming along. Horsey. Reverse Hollow Sableye. Nice. They'll scratch 20 damage and then Lost Mine. This can hang on. You can use this attack only if you have 10 or more cards in the Lost Zone. Put 12 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way you like. That's kind of cool. So that'd be like a really good cleanup guy for endgame. And Enamorous V. Guardian of Love. Prevent all effects of your Pokemon's abilities done to each of your Pokemon that has any psychic energy attached to it, except for an Amorous V. Okay. So, like, it could be countering, like, Umbreon Vmax, I guess. Alright. Kind of cool. It might come up. I think we had someone that did that already, though. Like, Espeon? Espeon Vmax have that ability? I'll look it up. If it does, I'll just put it somewhere. Remember that, future me. Fighting Energy, Gloom, Gastrodon, Arc Ball. Look at the top card of your deck. You may switch that card with one of your face-down prize cards. That's cool. Binacle, Murkrow, Wurmple. What is that? Creepy Crawly Congregation. Search your deck for any number of Wurmple, Silcoon, Beautifly, Cascoon, and Dustox. Reveal them and put them into your hand. Okay. Another Clefairy. I love that they made Clefairy as like a common, and it's actually like a bit of a threat. Raichu. So it has Thundershock, 30 damage, flip a coin, heads, your opponent's paralyzed, and Ace Spark, 100 damage. If you've used your V-Star power, this attack does 120 more damage. That's actually pretty cool. So 220, you can be taking out Vs with it. If they're water, you're hitting them for weakness and getting a knockout. Attach a choice belt, you're at, what is that, 250? And then just Zigzagoon pings or Inteleon pings or something. I could see Raichu actually getting some play. Combo with the Magnezone, so I think Magnezone you can like spear things on the bench. All right, Fire Energy, another Mirage Gate, a Choke, another Fantina, Widow. I like that most of the trainer cards in this set are actually fairly playable. Like they're either in the Lost Zone engine. What I got here? Fly Score, Hurricane Shock, 50 damage, flip 4 points, attack does 50 damage for each heads. At least 2 of them are heads. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. That's actually kind of cool. You've got essentially a 50% chance to do 100 damage and paralyze them. Nice. And it's fighting type, so there's ways to cheat energy out, like that Gutsy Pickaxe. Yeah, what was I saying? So the trainer cards, yeah. Most of them are playable, like Thornton, Losted, all of the Lost Zone engine cards. It's like, well, if you're running a Lost Zone deck, you want to be getting those. Airzu, also pretty cool. Psychic. Sliggoo, Electrike, any good. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. I feel like you shouldn't have to flip a coin for that. I'm pretty sure we have Raichu that you didn't have to flip a coin for that. Toolbox. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. You may reveal any number of Pokemon tool cards you find there and put them into your hand. Shuffle the other cards back into your deck. That's cool. I like that. Hatchery to Honchkrow deck. Getting some support finally. Sudowoodo, Bronzor, Electrike, Ghastly, Barbaracle, Lost Block. Your opponents puts any prize cards they would take from in the Lost Zone instead of into their hand. That's toxic as hell. And Hisuian Arcanine, very vulnerable. For 0 energy, 10 damage. If you have no cards in your hand, this attack does 150 more damage. And then Sharp Fang, 100 damage, fighting double colorless. I think the idea with this, you combo it with the Radiant Venusaur. At the end of your turn, you draw cards till you have 6 in hand, so you just bin your whole hand, use this attack, and then use the Venusaur to refill it. Also, hitting 160, you can give it a choice belt, puts you up to 190. Play Grant, do 220, you can be one-shotting Vs. It's pretty cool. Like, I feel like for single prize decks, though, you need to have a way to one-shot V-Stars. They've got so much health. Like, if you're trying to half-hit them, they can find ways to heal, they can just bounce to the bench and make you really work for that knockout. Like, you gotta be able to send it home. Mineshaw, pound, 30 damage, and double smash. 70 damage, flip 2 coins, 70 damage for each heads. That's pretty cool. Another Lake Velocity, Dominion, Goomy, Meditite, Wovit, Gligar, Phantump, Reverse Damage Pump. You get to move 2 damage counters from one of your Pokemon to your other Pokemon in any way you like. So this is what I'm going to combo with Gengar and the Zoroark Vstar, because Gengar, you can take it from your discard, put it onto the bench, takes 3 damage counters, then you use Damage Pump, move 2 of those damage counters onto 2 other guys, and then all of a sudden you've got 3 damage guys, letting Zoroark Vstar do 150 damage. Pretty cool. Oh, sick. Full Art Delphox V. Eerie Glow, your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned and confused, and Magical Fire 120 damage. Put 2 energy, attach this Pokemon into Lost Zone, and it does 120 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. I don't know about that one. That's a kind of tricky attack to get set up and then Lost Zoning. I could see it being like alright end game, because end game you're just needing to maybe finish off a V-Star you couldn't, and then there's another one on the bench you need to finish off. Could come up. Right, Fire Energy, Dottler, Panic Mask. Prevent all damage done to this Pokemon. This card is attached to you by attacks of your opponent's Pokemon that has 40 HP or less remaining. So kind of like Blizzard Town, but as an item card. I like that actually, because with V-Stars, like you're not one-shotting really. Like if you're just getting them into that range. So maybe you combo this with Arcanine. Will we see? Seadra has Swim Freely, so Finian can accelerate energy out to it, and it has Hydro Jet. This attack does 20 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon for each water energy attached to this Pokemon. So you can be sniping stuff with it, rushing out a bunch of energy. It's kind of nuts. And then we've got things like Nessa, so if it gets knocked out, get water energy back into your hand. And just kind of recycle. Keep sniping. Cresselia, Reverse Hollow? And another Comfey. I don't think I read the Comfey before, did I? So Comfey has the ability Flower Selecting. So once during your turn, if this Pokemon's in your active spot, you may look at the top 2 cards of your deck and put one of them into your hand. Put the other card into the Lost Zone. So it's a way to kind of accelerate things out, be able to get Mirage Gate on board, get Giratina's attack on board. About halfway through this box now, guys. Water Energy, Survivor, Galarian Stunfisk, Box of Disaster. That is an awesome name. If the Pokemon V this card is attached to has full HP and is knocked out by damage from an attack, your opponent put 8 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. Okay, I like that actually. That's cool. It's sort of like Bursting Balloon. Roselia, Goomy, Meditite, Focus Fist, 30 damage, flip a coin. If tails it does nothing. Alright. Skwovet. So derpy, I love him. Gligar, Reverse Wurmple, and Magcargo. Did it have relevant 220? Oh wow. 2 fire and a colorless, put all energy attached to this Pokemon into the Lost Zone. So I can be one-shotting a V and accelerating 3 energy into the Lost Zone to set things up. Kind of cool. Like, I'm really curious to see if we'll get more Lost Zone stuff, because we've only really got one more set in the Sword and Shield era, which is like Brilliant Arcana? Something like that, the one with the Vulpix. Dark Energy, Gastrodon, Earthquake, 170. This attack does 20 damage to each of your bench Pokemon. Could come up in GLC. Misfortune Sisters, Medicham, Battle Step, 50 damage. Search your deck for up to 2 fighting energy cards and attach them to your bench Pokemon in any way that you like, then shuffle your deck. That's kind of cool for GLC too. Rhyhorn, Apom. We just got like a arguably way better one in the last set. Oh, Full Art Hisuian Arcanine. So very vulnerable attack and just sick artwork. That's awesome. And Dugong, Swim Freely, so you can accelerate energy out with the Finian. And Flow Return, 40 damage, shuffle any amount of water energy from your Pokemon into your deck. This tech does 40 damage for each card you shuffled in this way. That's pretty cool. So you get, what, 6 energy on it, does 240, you're taking out a V, 7 energy, you can take out a Vstar, 8 energy, you can take out a Vmax, and you're not even discarding it, it's just going back into the deck. So I'll combo that with things like Lady and Bucket. Yeah, Swim really is going to be a pretty interesting single prize engine. Also the fact that there's a Seadra with it, so you can charge up the Kingdra from Battle Styles, where it's 40 damage for each water energy on it. If anything gets knocked out, move water energy to this Kingdra, so just like continuously set them up. Have 2 Kingdras set up, like 10 energy on one, it gets knocked out, just move it to the next Kingdra. Grass energy, regular damage pump, Dottler. Speaking of, it's the dude. Mindfoe, Litwick, Nover, Rhyhorn, Apom, Oracle, and another Parasect. I feel like grass Pokemon get so many just like cards each set, but they're never that great. They're just like that far off from being okay. It's been a while. Like, do we even have any grass V-Stars? We've got Leafeon, which was like a promo. I don't know, let me know in the comments. I feel like there's got to be another one, but I'm thinking it's actually just Leafeon for grass V-Star so far. Gift Energy, Bloom, another Arc Phone, Seedot, Lugma, Dynamo, Litleo, Mindfoe, Reverse Roselia, and Rotom V. Instant charge. Once during your turn, you may draw up to 3 cards. If you use this ability, your turn ends. So kind of like Zacian, but you don't accelerate energy to it. 2 lightning energy to use Scrap Short, 40 damage. Put any number of Pokemon tool cards from your discard pile in the Lost Zone. Attack does 40 more damage for each card you put in the Lost Zone in this way. Okay, so you combo this with Porygon 2. I kind of like that. It's like the 2 computer Pokemon just teaming up. I feel like I gotta find a way to make Porygon work. There's a guy that goes to League that really likes Porygon, so if I can come up with a list for him, I'd be pretty happy with that. Lightning, Cascoon, Lampent, Ambipom, all you can grab. Flip a coin until you get tails. Search your deck for any number of cards up to the number of heads and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. Alright, so when Marnie rotates and people don't play Judge, pretty cool. Growlithe, Seedot, Lugma, Dynamo, Litleo, Reverse Poliwag, Hisuian Basculegion. I like this guy. He'll be good with the Radiant Steelix. So for 0 energy, Upstream Spirits, 20 damage. This stack does 20 more damage for each basic energy card in your discard pile, then shuffle those energies into your deck. So if you've got, what was it, 15 energy in your discard, 300 damage, attach a choice belt to it, 330, or just have 17 energy in the discard, which, saying that out loud, it's a pretty big ask, but you pull it off, it's pretty cool. Because there's the Steelix that's literally just like discard your entire deck except for 1 card. Does damage for each energy. We'll see. Alright, Fighting Energy, Sliggoo, Electrike, Toolbox, Bronzor, Phalanx, Poliwag, Oddish, Growlithe, Relicanth Reverse, and Manectric. Assault Laser, 80 damage. If your opponent's act Pokemon has a Pokemon tool card attached to it, it does 80 more. Also, like one of those guys that he gets like a decent bit of cards printed, but just none of them are that great. Feels bad. There was one where it was like you evolve up into him and draw 3 cards, which is pretty cool. But when we've got guys that are just repeatable, like Liberal, each turn just draw until you have 5 cards into hand, like why would I want something that is a one-off effect? Like, yeah, you can use Scoop Up Net, but... Haunter, Curse Drop, put 3 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon any way you like, so similar to Bench Barrier View, that is a stage 1. Relicanth, Lost Vacuum, pretty cheeky. It's like kind of like Faba, eh? You can use this card only if you put another card from your hand in the Lost Zone. Choose Pokemon Tool card or a Stadium. Yeah, so it's like Faba, but as a tool. And you Lost Zone one of your own things. Bronzor, Phalanx, another Poliwag, Oddish, Vileplume is with his little dude, and Bouffalant, Lost Headbutt, 50 damage, put an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon in the Lost Zone. That's kind of cool. Like, you get that off multiple times, just keep Lost Zoning their energy, run it with hammers, and just kind of stall your opponent that way until they can't attack. Bit tricky to power up though. You'd have to do like Twin Energy and Raihan or Mirage Gate, I guess. Alright, Seviper, Sunfisk, Box of Disaster, Paris, Inkay, Hisuian Basculin, Jinx, Makahita, Reverse Finian, and Electros, Coil. Does 10 damage during your opponent's next turn. This Pokemon's attacks do 120 more damage to your opponent's active. That's cool. And Extreme Current, 160 damage, discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. Alright. Like another one of those cards that maybe it sees play in GLC. Can't see it coming up in Standard though. Like there's Electrike in GLC that's similar to Flappy. Accelerate energy to the bench. Just being able to evolve it up into something to get some attacks isn't a bad idea. Steel Energy, Ariyama, Muscular Slap, 100 damage. This attack's damage isn't affected by resistance. Licky Licky, Poliwhirl. I haven't seen the Politoed yet, have we? I think that's the one with the kind of gimmicky attack. Reverse Licky Licky, and Porygon Z, or Z, depending how you like to say it. JZ, JZ, Porygon Z, Porygon Z. Downgrading Beam. Devolve one of your opponent's evolved Pokemon by removing any number of evolution cards from it. Your opponent shuffles those cards into their deck, and Power Beam 130. So, like, it's not bad. Like, you can kind of stall them out, or if you've hit like a V-Star or in the future EXs and have done enough damage that if you devolve them, they'd be knocked out. Like if they're evolving, let's say we get a Pikachu or Raichu EX in the future and it has like 200 damage, but it's evolved from a basic Pikachu that had 60 damage and it's got 60 damage on that, devolve it, and it's like, well, you're dead now. Take less prizes that way though. Like I feel like you just want to knock out the big thing. Alright, Water Energy, Damage Pump. I think we're at a playset of that now too. And the Seadra. Dottler, Porygon, Ducklet, Blip Bug. Okay, Blip Bug. That's nice. Pinion, Zoroark, Reverse Chorus Experiment. Pretty cool. Barbacle. So I think we got a reverse of it. I didn't realize it was a holo. I love the holo Lost Zone guys. Look pretty sweet. Like the fact that they applied the holo effect onto the like little swirls, like it. Really hope we get some more Lost Zone support in the next set. And it's not like Fusion Strike cards where it's like we got them in the set with Mew and then we technically got more, but they're just like gym promos and stuff, and they were never like actually playable. Riley, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, and have your opponent choose 2 of them. Discard the chosen cards and put the remaining cards into your hand. Okay, so essentially draw 3 and let your opponent ditch 2 of your cards. So it's like a shittier hop. Wind Up Arm. Pokemon this is attached to can attack even if it's asleep or paralyzed. So like that's how you get Kamala to keep going, I guess. Binacle, Porygon, Ducklet, Flipbug, another Finian. Wow, we're getting a lot of Finians. Another Arcanine. And Stonejourner. Oh, I didn't realize he's a Lost Zone guy. Attach up to 2 fighting energy cards from your hand to your opponent or to your Pokemon in any way you like. And Lost Shot. 120, put the top card of your opponent's deck into the Lost Zone. Kinda cool. Ways when you can like Lost Zone your opponent. I feel like you're pretty busted. Because if you can just put their win condition in the Lost Zone. Like if they're running Radiant Charizard deck and you can Lost Zone it, it's kind of like, ah. Alright. Fire Energy? Ah, grass. Cascoon, Lampent, Ambipom, Murkrow, Horsey, Mawile, Jellos, Binacle. Ooh! The dude! The dude! Dude! I shouldn't like this card as much as I do. It's kind of trash, but I love. So Energy Stream, 20 damage for a colorless energy. Attach up to 2 steel energy from your discard pile to this Pokemon so it can accelerate to use its own attack. Destructive Finish, 60 damage plus discard cards from the top of your deck until you get 1 card remaining. The stack does 30 damage for each energy card you discarded in this way. So like you just in your whole deck. If you hit what? 10 energy, you're doing 360. Get out of here. Oh shit, I didn't realize the radiance for the rev slots. Okay, I see in Zoroark Vstar we got one. Ticking Curse, 50 damage plus 50 more, or 50 damage for each damage. Too excited, I didn't realize I'd be getting 2 hits on his back. Try this again. Ticking Curse. It does 50 damage for each of your Pokemon that has any damage counters on it. So like I said before, you get that Gengar, you use Damage Pump, move it around. You can put Gape Jaw Bog in play. When you bench basics, they're taking damage. Damage Pump, move that around. And the ability Phantom Star, during your turn, you may discard your hand and draw 7 cards. That's pretty sweet. That's like Professor's Research as an ability. I'm excited for that. I like Zoroark. I've got a soft spot for Zoroark. Alright, Vstar marker, Roserade. Poisonous Whip, 30 damage. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. And Assassin's Rose. That's a sick name for an attack. Good job, Pokemon. Altair, the flower. Assassin's Rose, 60 damage. Your opponent's active Pokemon is affected by a special condition. This attack does 60 to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Okay, so it could be like killing a Sobble off the bench. That's not very assassin-y. I thought it'd be like if it's affected by a special condition, it's just in the bin. Fantina, Bronzong, Rhyhorn, Murkrow, Horsey, Mawile, Shellos. Nice. Chandelure and Full Art. Mountain Roasting. Ditch 3 cards from the top of your opponent's deck. And yeah. Ooh, another double. Pidgeot V. Vanishing Wings. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is on your bench, you may shuffle it and all attached cards into your deck. And it has the attack Flight Surf. 80 damage. Plus, if you have a Stadium card in play, this does 80 more damage. That's kind of cool. So 160. You can use Powerful Energy on it. Not bad. And then if people are half hitting it, you just get them on the bench, bounce them into your deck, and it's just like nothing to see here. Right. And yeah, if you keep seeing me poke at my ear, I've actually just got like a wireless headphone. Normally have a full headset thing on, but trying this out. Oops. Getting ahead of myself there. Lightning Energy, Licky, Relicanth, Lost Vacuum, Electrike, Love Disc, Flygar, Wurmple, Creepy Collie Congregation, Reverse Survivor, the Toad. Alright, so this is the one that I've been wanting to pull. Again, one of those cards that super gimmicky, kind of trash, but like that's kind of my jam. Double colorless, Lordly Song Leader. Like they're just killing it with the attack names lately. Good job, guys. 10 damage. If Poliwag's on your bench, this attack does 60 more, so 70. Poliwhirl's on your bench, this attack does 90 more, bringing that up to, on maths, 160. And if Poliwrath is on your bench, 120, so it brings you up to 280. You can be one-shotting a V-Star with this guy. Double colorless, pay it with a twin or a double turbo. Play it with double turbo, you're not one-shotting, so you need the choice belt. The amount of setup required for this is a little absurd. So you need, let's see, best case scenario, Poliwag on the bench unevolved. Poliwag use a rare candy to get into this. Poliwag use a rare candy or manually evolve up into the Poliwrath, and then I guess Zoroark to switch into Poliwhirl, so that potentially you can get 2 of these off and take out V-Stars. Like, I guess not having a Poliwag on the bench isn't the biggest deal, like losing 60 damage compared to losing 120, but it's a big ask. I feel like that attack just should have been on the Poliwrath, or like on the Politoad, and just ignore the Poliwrath bit. Bombasnow, Rhydon, I don't think we've seen him yet. Wonder if there's a Rhyperior in the set? Kamala, Sudowoodo, Electrike, Luvdisc, Gligar, Wurmple, Horsey, Magearna. Cool. Alright. Hariyama, Haunter, Poliwhirl, Shuppet, Machop, Pikachu, Phantom, Sudowoodo, Reverse Ghastly, and Goodra. Metal Lodging. Prevent all damage done to each of your basic Pokemon that has any steel energy attached to it by attacks of your opponent's Pokemon V. So that's kind of cool to combo with like Zacian, Zamazenta. What other basic steel attackers do we have? Berserker? I think there's a Berserker V that came out in this set that's actually semi-playable. Like just straight up being able to deny damage. Pretty cool. Stage 2 though, so makes it tricky, but still pretty cool. Fire energy? Which I am not. Iceken, Carbink, Panic Mask, Steel, Shuppet, Machop, Pikachu, Phantom, Reverse Porygon Z. Nice. Nick, if you're watching this and you want it, it's all yours, buddy. And Raichu, a Spark. Seen that one before. If you've used your V-Star, 120 more. One shot of V. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Which I guess, 120 more, you're doing 220. Choice Belt 250, play Leon 280, so you could be one-shotting V-Stars. Okay. Steel, Riley, Wind-Up Arm, Nuzleaf, Dinark, Litwick, Roselia. He's just having the best day, that little pupperoni. Seal, Reverse Murkrow, and Greedent. And that'll bring our first box to an end. Got 2 more to go through, guys. I think I'm going to split these up into a couple videos though, because it does feel like that's been going for a little bit. Yeah, catch you in part 2. I'll have a link to it like here. It's gonna be here. Maybe in editing it'll end up like here or here. We'll see.